World events in 1810. America. Macon's Bill No. 2. This bill, passed in May, aimed to encourage Britain and France to stop seizing American ships during the Napoleonic Wars by offering trade benefits to the nation that lifted its restrictions on American trade. Pacific Fur Company. John Jacob Astor founded the Pacific Fur Company in June, leading to the establishment of Fort Astoria at the mouth of the Columbia River in the Pacific Northwest, expanding American influence in the region. Republic of West Florida. In September, the Republic of West Florida declared its independence from Spain, but was quickly annexed by the United States in October. Third Census. The U.S. Census in 1810 revealed a population of 7.2 million, including a significant number of enslaved African Americans. American settlers. American settlers began migrating in large numbers to the Old Southwest, Alabama, and Mississippi. Britain. April. Sir Francis Burdett, an MP, was imprisoned in the Tower of London after calling for reform of the House of Commons and was charged with libel against Parliament. This led to rioting in London. August. The British Royal Navy fleet was forced to surrender at the Battle of Grand Port, which took place at Ile-de-France, Mauritius. October. King George III was deemed permanently insane, and the Prince of Wales began to reign as Prince Regent. November. Sweden declared war on the United Kingdom, marking the beginning of the Anglo-Swedish War. November-December. British forces successfully invaded and forced the French to surrender Ile-de-France, Mauritius. France. In 1810, France experienced significant events, including Napoleon's marriage to Marie-Louise, the annexation of Holland, and ongoing military engagements in the Peninsular War and Napoleonic Wars. These events reflect the ongoing political and military landscape of the era. Spain. Siege of Ciudad, Rodrigo, April 26 to July 9th. French forces under Marshal Ney successfully captured the fortified city of Ciudad Rodrigo from the Spanish. Combat of Barquilla, July 11th. A French grenadier unit covering a foraging party engaged with British troops in a fighting retreat. Battle of La Bisbal, September 14th. A Spanish division, supported by an Anglo-Spanish naval squadron, surprised a French brigade. Mexican War of Independence begins, September 16th. Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla and other rebels launched the Mexican War of Independence with the Grito de Dolores, calling for independence from Spanish colonial rule. First National Assembly of Spain, 1810 to 1814. The Cortes, Spain's first National Assembly, convened on the Isle of Leon to address the ongoing French occupation and the political landscape. Juntas in Latin America. In 1810, juntas, government councils, in Caracas and Buenos Aires declared independence from the Bonapartist government in Spain and sent ambassadors to the United Kingdom. May Revolution in Buenos Aires, May 1810. This revolution aimed at Argentine independence from Spain, leading to Buenos Aires establishing authority over the newly emancipated provinces. Sweden. Early January. Sweden signs the Treaty of Paris, forcing them to join the Continental System, a trade embargo against Great Britain. May 28th. Crown Prince Charles August dies. June 20th. Axel von Fersen the Younger, a prominent member of the Gustavian Party, is murdered in Stockholm. August 21st. Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte is elected as the new heir to the Swedish throne. November 2nd. Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte officially takes the name Charles John, and the Swedish Act of Succession is passed. November 7th. The Anglo-Swedish War, 1810 to 1812, begins. December 22nd. Bernadotte's wife, Desiree Clary, and their son, the future Oscar I, arrive in Sweden. Norway. In 1810 in Norway, Prince Frederick of Hesse was appointed steward of Norway. Large parts of the town of Mundal burned down on July 14th to 15th. The Battle of Ciudad took place on July 23rd. The Norwegian Government Commission was dissolved on November 30th. Additionally, the year 1810 marked the birth of Johan Reinert Ryerson, a Norwegian-American writer, author, and publisher, on April 17th in Västermalland. Russia. In 1810, Tsar Alexander I of Russia withdrew from Napoleon's continental system on December 31st. This decision significantly altered the geopolitical landscape, impacting Russia's relationship with both France and Britain. Russia's decision to trade with Britain, despite the continental system, ultimately led to Napoleon's invasion of Russia in 1812. Saudi Arabia. 1810 was a period of heightened tensions between the First Saudi state, also known as the Emirate of Diriyah, and the Ottoman Empire, leading up to the Ottoman-Saudi War, which began in 1811. The First Saudi state, under the rule of Saud bin Abdulaziz al Saud, reigned 1803 to 1814, had expanded significantly, including capturing the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. This was seen as a major challenge to the Ottoman Empire's authority and control over these important religious sites. Iran. In 1810, a key event in Iranian history was the signing of a British-Iranian treaty, which aimed to strengthen Iranian defenses against Russia and France. This treaty, also known as the Treaty of Friendship and Alliance, was a crucial step in British diplomacy within the Qajar dynasty of Iran. The treaty included a British commitment to assist Iran in modernizing its army and providing military support in the war against Russia. India. Battle of Grand Port. This naval battle, fought off the coast of Mauritius, resulted in a victory for the French, who used Grand Port as a base for raids on British trade and to support French troops fighting the British in India. This was a significant loss for the British, who lost 4 frigates. House tax extension. The East India Company attempted to expand the house tax from Calcutta to other regions in eastern India, including Varanasi, Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha. This was met with resistance due to factors like inflation, crop failures, and widespread poverty, making the tax particularly difficult to bear for the population. China. Opium crisis and the Daoguang Emperor's edict. The Chinese government, particularly the Qing dynasty, was actively trying to suppress the opium trade, which was largely driven by British merchants. The 1810 edict issued by the Daoguang Emperor reflects the government's efforts to control the flow of opium and address the growing issue of addiction and its impact on the country. Famine in Hebei. The 1810 to 1811 famine in Hebei province indicates a period of hardship and food shortages, which were not uncommon in China during the Qing dynasty. Korea. Earthquake. A significant earthquake, with a magnitude of 7.3, struck Korea in 1810, particularly impacting the North Hamgyong province. Famine. The 1809 to 1810 famine continued to impact Korea, leading to widespread suffering and loss of life. About 24% of the population, approximately 14 million people, died during this period. The combination of the earthquake and ongoing famine caused significant hardship and loss of life. Australia. In 1810 in Australia, Lachlan Macquarie became the governor of New South Wales, ending the New South Wales Corps' control of the colony following the Rum Rebellion. Macquarie brought his own regiment, the 73rd Regiment, and disbanded the New South Wales Corps. He also implemented a public works program, including new roads, bridges, and public buildings. Additionally, the Derwent Star and Van Diemen's Land Intelligencer, Australia's second newspaper and the first in Van Diemen's Land, began publication. Canada. In 1810, Canada experienced several notable events. The Quebec newspaper Le Canadien was suppressed, and warrants were issued for the arrest of several individuals. Construction of the Chemin-Craig Road began in August 1810. The project, authorized by Governor James Henry Craig, aimed to link Quebec and Boston, encouraging English-speaking immigration. businessman John Molson requested exclusive rights to construct and operate steamboats on the St. Lawrence River. Loyalist Colonel Edward Jessup laid out a town site in Upper Canada. Mexico. Cry of Dolores, September 16th. Father Hidalgo, a Catholic priest, addressed his congregation and urged them to join the fight for independence from Spanish rule. This event is considered the official start of the Mexican War of Independence. Battle of Monte de las Cruces, October 30th. This was one of the first major battles of the war, taking place near Mexico City. Capture of Guanajuato, September 28th. Insurgent troops, led by José Mariano Abasolo and Ignacio Camargo, captured the city of Guanajuato, Argentina. In 1810, Buenos Aires, the capital of the Viceroyalty of the Rio de la Plata, experienced the May Revolution, a pivotal event that led to the beginning of the Argentine War of Independence. This revolution involved the overthrow of the Spanish Viceroy Baltasar Hidalgo de Cisneros and the establishment of a local government, the Primera Junta, on May 25th. Brazil. Stringford Treaty. This treaty, negotiated between the Portuguese government, then in exile in Brazil, and Great Britain, granted Britain substantial commercial advantages in Brazil, including free trade, British naval access to Brazilian ports, and freedom of worship for British Protestants. While it initially negatively impacted Brazilian manufacturing, it ultimately contributed to the nation's overall commerce. Independence movements in Spanish South America. While Brazil remained a Portuguese colony, 1810 was also a year of independence movements in other parts of South America, with nations like Venezuela, Argentina, and Colombia declaring independence from Spain. South Africa. Shaka Zulu's rise to power. Shaka, a future king of the Zulu nation, was appointed chief of the Amamthethwa army, marking a pivotal point in the Zulu kingdom's expansion and the subsequent Mthethwa-Zulu conflict. Mthethwa-Zulu conflict. This conflict saw Shaka's forces conquer and absorb the Mthethwa, marking the beginning of his military and political domination over the region. Formation of new states. Shaka's conquests and the resulting displacement of populations contributed to the formation of new states like the Sotho and Swazi kingdoms. Intensification at Delagoa Bay. The slave trade at Delagoa Bay expanded in response to labor demands from plantations in Brazil and the Mascarene Islands. Sudan. Growing influence of Sufism. The Tijaniya, a Sufi order that rivaled the dominant Qadiriya, is reported to have reached Sudan around 1810 through the Western Sahel. Sufi orders played a significant role in disseminating Islam and influencing religious practices in Sudan. Algeria. In 1810, the Regency of Algiers was under the rule of Haji Ali Ben Khalil, who had become Dey in 1809. This period was marked by the Regency's increasing independence from the Ottoman Empire, as Haji Ali was known for his strict but fiercely independent rule. We hope you have enjoyed watching the video. Thank you.